HAB-U University presents Email Etiquette. Write the right stuff. When the use of email became common in the early 90s, how we were expected to communicate in the business world dramatically changed. And so it is with us at the HAB-U Corporation. Email, for many, takes up an ever-increasing portion of our workday. According to a study by the International Data Corporation, workers spend 28% of their work week reading and answering email. While we try to manage increasing workloads, work faster and more efficiently, we often power through email with little consideration for how our communication can be received by others. Let's explore some guidelines to follow that will elevate your level of professionalism and demonstrate courtesy and respect to those who you communicate with, both internally and externally. Always have a clear subject line. Most people have to deal with dozens and dozens of emails clogging their inbox every day. So the clearer your subject line, the more likely your message will be read and perhaps moved higher in priority than other messages. For example, if you're sending information requested by a dealer, write information you requested. Make it as easy as possible to figure out what your message is about. Have a professional signature line. Every email should include a signature that tells the recipient who you are and how to contact you. Set it up to automatically appear at the end of each email. Include all of your contact details so the recipient doesn't have to look up your address, email, or phone number. It's a good idea to include a link to the HAB-U website. Always drive people to the website. Marketing has established a signature format for all to use. If you have any questions about the format, contact them. Use a professional salutation. Using hey, yo, or what up isn't acceptable in a business communication, no matter how well you know the recipient. Even internally, use hi or hello instead. Externally, be more formal, using Dear Robert or Hello Robert. But remember not to shorten a person's name unless you know for a fact that is their preference. When you know the recipient prefers it, then Dear Bob is fine. There's never a penalty for being formal, but there might be a penalty for being too casual or familiar. Proofread before sending. Don't be surprised if you're judged by the way you compose an email. For example, if your email is littered with misspelled words and grammatical errors, you may be perceived as sloppy, careless, or worse yet, uneducated. Don't give people a reason for questioning your intellect or credibility. Check your spelling, grammar, and content before hitting send. You don't only hurt your own personal image, you also potentially tarnish the HAB-U brand. There's always a grammar god or goddess who is wondering why you don't know the difference between here and here, your and your, or there and there. Reply to all emails you receive. Give a timely response to every business email that you receive, excluding spam, of course. The surest way to get more email or follow-up call is to not reply as quickly as your schedule allows. In today's complex business world, saying, "I had so many things on my plate," just doesn't fly. We're all busy. Failing to provide a timely response says to your coworkers that your time is more valuable than theirs. And it tells dealers, vendors, and other professionals that they are low on your list of things to do. So make replying to email a priority. Be judicious about reply all. If you receive an email that was sent to a larger group, reply only to those who require a response. Oftentimes, the sender is the only person who needs one. Hitting reply all can unnecessarily add to the workload of others, so do it only if it is crucial that every person on the distribution list see it. Read the entire thread. When you are part of a group thread of email, be sure to read all responses so you don't ask questions that have already been answered or make incorrect assumptions. That's when you rightfully receive sarcastic responses out of annoyance, such as stated below, or per my earlier response. Read the entire thread for understanding before you reply. Be mindful of your words. There's an old saying that goes, "You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube." And so it is with email. Once it's out there and seen, there is no getting it back. Never send an email in anger or frustration. You will almost always regret it. Give your message thoughtful consideration before sending it, even when someone sends you a provocative email first. If you feel angry, let the message sit in the draft folder and revise the message later to demonstrate the proper spirit and intent. Don't overuse exclamation points. Exclamation points and other indications of excitement, such as emojis, abbreviations, and all caps, do not translate well in business communications. It's just not professional to use a string of exclamation points. People know that you are exclaiming after the first one. All caps makes it look like you're yelling, and LOL and emojis are just not professional, particularly when communicating externally. Leave them off unless you know the recipient extremely well. Don't try to resolve conflict via email. It won't work. If you have overt conflict with someone, don't use email. Every word will be scrutinized, looking for the worst of intent. And all they have to go by is your choice of words. Instead, get face-to-face to resolve conflict. That way, people can see your body language and hear the tone of your voice. If you cannot get face-to-face, consider a WebEx or a FaceTime. Last resort, use the telephone. Email is an inappropriate mode of communication when trying to resolve conflict, because that's when dialogue is critical. You certainly don't want to spend unreasonable amounts of time composing and editing email. You also don't want to make glaring mistakes that hurt your professional image or the HAB-U brand. Once you get used to employing these professional email strategies, composing and editing emails will become a breeze, and you can confidently move on to other business.